Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. This is the biggest and the most ambitious game that Ubisoft is currently working on. And guess what? It's actually an open world survival, storytelling, single player as well as a co-op game that is coming out on December 7th.
Let's get it done.
Well, what if I told you guys that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora was going to have a lot of bullet sponge enemies? And the game is going to force you to pretty much do the same takedown animations, which are most likely going to get bored over time. And the combat system in this game is nothing too special. It's very similar to what we've seen with Far Cry games, and it's actually pretty boring. Now, as far as what I've seen from the gameplays of Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, the game sure does look damn gorgeous. And I'm gonna be honest here, Ubisoft has done a very good job in terms of representing how beautiful the world of Pandora is. But apart from this, when it comes to the combat system, the gameplay and all that stuff, it seems like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is pretty much just looking like a reskin of Far Cry games. Now, the first thing I want to touch on when it comes to the combat system in this game is that all the combats that I've seen so far in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora's gameplay is that the enemies are very clearly going to be bullet sponging, and of course we can say that the enemies are huge and they're most likely going to be taking more damage and all that stuff. But I don't know why or whatsoever Ubisoft did not really show us any gameplay of we actually shooting a human character. It was always us either shooting the choppers or either shooting the mechanics and all that stuff, but there was never really a scene in the gameplay which could actually show us on how we're going to be hunting down humans. And the reason what I can assume is that the game basically has a lot of bullet spongy enemies, and that's the reason why Ubisoft did not want to show that off. But apart from the human AIs, it seems like the machines are of course going to be a lot more stronger. They're going to be bullet spongy, and it seems like every single kill in this game is going to be offering you some sort of a takedown. Anytime your enemies or the mechanics health bar goes down to a certain level, you're going to be granted with this takedown animation, which I believe that it's going to get very repetitive as you keep playing the game. And obviously at some point of the game, it's going to get to a point where you're just feeling super annoyed at some times. And this is exactly what happened with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There was a lot of takedown animations, which a lot of people after playing the game for a whole lot of pretty much just found that animation very disturbing and just a waste of time. And it just keeps getting in between the combat system. And I think it's the same route that Ubisoft has taken once again with Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Now, not just this, it also seems like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is going to be a reskin of Far Cry games. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if you have taken a look at Far Cry 6, you'd probably know that the graphics as well as the gameplay mechanics and everything in this game looks exactly the same. But the only difference that I got to see is that the world is Pandora. You're going to be playing as a Navi instead of a human being. And we also have horses in this game, and we also have horses in Far Cry 6. But fortunately, what Ubisoft has done here is that they've given us two options when it comes to vehicle mounting in this game, because the view goes from first-person perspective to a third-person perspective, which I honestly did love the most out of the entire gameplay showcasing, because I was really afraid that the entire game was going to be forcing me to play in first-person perspective, because I'm a guy who just enjoys third-person more than first-person. Especially for a game like Avatar, I would honestly prefer playing in a third-person mode for the entire game. I would never choose a first-person mode. That's just my opinion, and I know that a lot of you guys might be thinking, well, I do like the first-person mode, and that's cool, you know. But if you end up comparing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora with the first Avatar game, which came out all the way back in 2009, I believe, that game seem to have more options than Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which is a game that is being made in 2023. Because we were not only able to play as a Navi character, we were also able to play as a human character. We also had third-person perspective. You had different vehicles that you could try out, both human vehicles as well as the Navi mounts, such as the Banshees, the Dire Horse, and also you could drive around with those huge dogs. I don't really know what those names are. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys do know the name. And after this comes the aerial combat, man. And by God, this is one of the most hilarious things I got to see in the entire gameplay. Now, if you guys can look at the aerial combat, it just looks extremely basic. It has no life or whatsoever. The AI choppers in this game are so dead that they don't even move when you're shooting at them. So the aerial combat looks extremely choppy. You're only going to be able to fly in the Banshees. You're not going to be able to test out the choppers. You're not going to be able to play as humans. So obviously we will not get to try out those choppers, man. I really wanted to play as humans and try flying those choppers, but unfortunately Ubisoft, you guys did not give that option in the game. But when it comes to the chopper AIs, man, I am so disappointed because look at this. The choppers are literally doing absolutely nothing, and they already have a release date which is on December 7th, and that's what makes me really scared because Ubisoft, I don't know if they're going to be delaying this game once again. And as far as what I've seen in terms of aerial combat alone, I think that this game definitely needs a lot more work, at least in terms of AI. Now, of course, it's still a work in progress game, so we can't really judge more, but as far as what we have got from the footage, that's what I'm judging here. So from the looks of it, from the early on gameplay, it looks like the AIs for the bird's eye, it looks like the AI for the helicopters, they really need to improve, man. Now, in my perspective, I would honestly want an aerial combat, like a real dogfight where you're just flying around, the choppers are chasing you. It's more action-packed and all that stuff. And I think that Ubisoft has really failed in this perspective as far as what I can see from the early on gameplays, because it definitely does not look like what I was imagining in my mind. It looks completely different. And now, apart from this, let's move on to the RDA factions, meaning the human beings in the game. And then comes the RPG mechanics, which is going to introduce a whole new skill tree. And when I say a skill tree, I actually mean it's a real tree, man. Now, this is how you're going to be upgrading your character. You're going to be learning new skills and all that stuff inside the game. So as you learn and progress through the skills, it seems like the game is going to have some sort of an RPG mechanics. And this takes us all the way back to the topic of bullet spongy enemies. Because usually what Ubisoft does when it comes to representing their games, they usually take off the UI from the game. But when you're actually playing the game, that's not how it's going to look unless you turn off all of the UI options. Then all of these bullet spongy mechanics, it's going to create this damage number that's going to pop off when you're shooting these enemies and all that stuff. So this could end up looking like a pure RPG game at the end of the day.
Okay, that's done. Let's check out the inside.
Now, apart from all of these things, I honestly think that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is one of the most beautiful looking games that is coming out in year 2023. Honestly, don't think it's going to be releasing on December 7th, but if it does, then I hope it's not going to be a buggy game. And as far as what I can see from the gameplay, the aerial combat definitely does need a lot of works. And if anyone from Ubisoft is watching this, I really hope you guys take this game seriously, because I am super excited for this game. I would love to support this game till the final breath that it would last for, but I really do please request you guys to make this game as good as possible and try to remove all of those bugs and bad AI systems from the game. Now, what did I personally love about Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is that the third-person Banshee flying in this game, it just looks absolutely fantastic, man. Like, take a look at yourself flying around the world of Pandora while you're exploring one of the most iconic places in Pandora. That just looks absolutely phenomenal, especially since the world is so beautiful and alive. It seems like James Cameron's creations are just out of this world, man. remember when I said that this game is exactly a copy paste or maybe a reskin of Far Cry games, and it seems like Ubisoft has pretty much just taken the same route as Far Cry games, because as you guys can see, there's this huge RDA camp that you need to take over, and once you take over all the different camps from the open world map, it seems like you're going to be capturing all of these different camps and making them your own safe house. So once you do that, then you're going to be getting this animation which then restores Pandora or whatever. So that camp is going to be overgrown with the forest areas, and now Navis are going to be much more safer in that location. So it's actually very similar to what we've seen with Far Cry. You have these different towers, there's different camps. So all you have to do for the entire game is go from camp to camp and then just keep unlocking safe zones where you can fast travel over time as you keep playing the game. There's nothing really very unique in terms of playing an Avatar game, I feel. And if you guys didn't know this already, it seems like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is going to be a survival game. It's not just an open world game, not just a story mode game. It is going to be a survival game where your character is going to feel hungry. You're going to have to cook food, and once you're done cooking, basically eat food. You can also take food from different plants around the open world, which I honestly think is a good part that Ubisoft has added into the game, because it's going to make the game feel much more alive, and you as a player are going to be more engaged with the open world. And I believe that plucking the fruit out of the plants and then eating it is going to be the only way that you can replenish your health inside of this game. And apart from this, you will also be able to hunt animals in this game. And killing animals, I don't think you can actually use their pelts or their flesh in order to eat them or cook them. The animal killing is only going to be focused around for all the crafting materials that you can gather around the game, and these crafting materials can then be used in order to replenish your ammo. You can craft your arrows. You can also craft some additional equipments for your weapons and all that stuff. And also when it comes to using the pelts to create outfits, you can also do that stuff. And out of the blue, my overall impression for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is that I'm super excited for this game. I cannot wait for this game to come out on December 7th, and I hope that Ubisoft does a good job with this game, because I have been so excited for another Avatar game ever since I played the first one back in 2009. I just love the first James Cameron's Avatar game, man. That game was a masterpiece back in those days. I don't know how people are going to be looking at it right now in 2023. Of course, it's going to be boring because you played so many other games. But back in 2009, man, that game was a huge gem, and I think Ubisoft knew how to make a proper Avatar game, and that's what I was expecting from Avatar 2 as well. But it seems like they've gone for a first-person perspective, and that already disappointed me. But apart from that, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they are going to be doing with the rest of the things that they've got. But let me tell you guys, the best decision that Ubisoft has made is to make Avatar Frontiers of Pandora part of Ubisoft Plus collection. So this game is going to be available for pretty much free. You're going to be able to play Assassin's Creed Mirage as well as Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Both of these games day one, or even you're going to be getting an early access to this game, and you're also going to be getting the deluxe edition, which means that you don't have to pay extra money in order to get the best edition of the game. So if you own the Ubisoft Plus subscription, you're going to be getting this game on day one. And if you don't like the game, you're still not going to be losing a lot of money here. It only costs you $10, and that's it. And not just this, you're also going to be able to play Assassin's Creed Mirage day one. So I think that Ubisoft has made a big choice here with Ubisoft Plus subscription, and I think a lot of people are going to be experiencing these games just using one of those subscriptions. So yeah, let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys feel about Avatar Frontiers of Pandora? I'm really curious to know what your opinions are, and if you guys are looking for a YouTube channel that covers all the latest and the greatest information, leaks, updates, gameplays, trailers, and all the stuff that you guys need about all the upcoming open world games, then this channel right here is going to be a one-stop shop. Make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on, and the most important step of all, make sure that you guys are setting your notification settings to all, man, because even if you guys have subscribed, it seems like the notifications are going to be sent over the weeks after a whole entire week. So it's a long time before you guys miss out on all of these content. So make sure you guys are setting notifications to all. And with that being said, if you guys go on and enjoy this video, please make sure to go ahead and smack a big fat like on this video, because your support is absolutely appreciated. It does help out the channel, it helps out the videos and every single thing that I do for you guys, and it motivates me to make better content for you guys every single day. So please, let's take a few seconds and show you boys some love. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.